Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Jordan. I help people expand their minds and get in touch with themselves and their sense of self-care, self-love. And today I really want to be talking to you about integrating the divine masculine and feminine qualities within us all. Understanding that these are really just archetypes, not something exclusively meant for men or women or gays or straights. These are concepts that should be understood by men and women and across the board of all of my alphabet people. It has everything to do with just understanding that these are just parts of who we are. And it's not so much about opposites as aspects and traits that complement each other, and these qualities that exist within all of us. And if we think about archetypes like the lover or the kingly archetype or a magician or any of those really classic archetypes in psychology that we embody, then masculine and feminine are simply just yin and yang archetypes that exist within human nature. And when we get to a point of understanding that, we start to really unpack that, break it down, and see that it's not meant for one gender or the other. And that idea of gender is very interesting in itself, because the whole false gender role stereotypes really started to be pushed with colonialism, and with colonialism included really stripping down and breaking down so many matriarchal societies in pagan cultures, in indigenous cultures, and countries like in Norway and Scandinavia, they had queens that ruled nations, and in Egypt they revered women and they respected the feminine so much so that, as opposed to patriarchal standards and classic patriarchal paradigms in societies like that, it wasn't that they revered the feminine as better than the masculine, which is what feminism movements do as well, but it was about respecting the feminine so much that she was equal to the male archetype. And that is important. That's so important to appreciate. It really is. And just to clarify, I have it written down here. It's I turned it into buzzwords because it's really about understanding that the feminine is creative, sensitive, caring, nurturing, emotional. The masculine is a leader, comforting, a provider. He's grounded, logical, responsible. And this all creates this yin and yang balance in ourselves. And set that back down there. It's about understanding that these aspects of ourselves live in everybody. And I really want to be gender inclusive when I say this, because this includes trans, non-binary, gay, straight, whatever, because it's about simply understanding how these traits work within us. And something as a man that I have faced is it's really hard for men to feel the permission to embrace the feminine. I mean, there's a lot of women that are really overabundant in masculinity, seemingly just when you look at traits like leadership roles and being very assertive. There's women out there that are very assertive and not so feminine. But that's where personalities come in all spectrums, really. But what I see, especially for men, is that they have a hard time. Men, we have a hard time giving ourselves permission to experience our sensitive side and to experience our femininity and expressing emotions and feeling sensitive and being okay to express self-care and talk about self-care, talk about love with people. And this is, and I mean, realistically too, another thing that I wanted to point out was that if you really look at a lot of these traits, like being logical, practical, rational, and being creative, nurturing, emotional, these are actually textbook definitions of being right and left-brained. So the sooner we walk away from those old roles and paradigms, and the sooner we break this all down and understand that these are, it's more like chuck those nouns in the garbage. It's more like understanding that it's being right or left-brained and integrating yourself to being an ambi-brained person or androgynous rather than masculine or feminine or male or female. We're human. We're human, and we live in a spectrum. We feel a range of emotions on a daily basis. And just like we feel a range of different growth in who we are in a lifetime, you know, it comes back to so many aspects of things that we even give people permission to experience. Like women are allowed to wear pants, but men are, you know, but men are frowned upon for wearing nail polish or wearing women's clothes or wearing dresses or anything that slightly looks like it threatens fragile patriarchal male egos. That's the root of it. That's the root of it. Because we're in an age now too where we're really starting to see this shift and show and support that men can express their feelings. Men can have bubble baths. Men can have glitter in their beard, or they can have nail polish or wear dresses or wear skirts. And I mean, kilts are doing a great job of, as those get normalized into not just tartans but really mainstream kilts too, those kind of things across the board, and trends in different cultures really overlapping each other in cultural appreciation gets appreciated, and you know, men coming back into long hair and different things like that. We have this work, we really are coming into this world of men feeling like they are valid to express their feminine side and to get in touch with that, well, that right-brained side of themselves that's not feminine but right-brained. And go figure, heaven forbid, a man experience himself in his fullest entirety. Heaven forbid we understand and appreciate and live the human experience in its fullest entirety, in its fullest nature. But so many of us, especially as men, we have a hard time with this. And we really need to look to our female partners, our divine feminine warrior women out there, to help us as we go through this, navigating this journey of self-growth, because they'll help us. And men, they'll help you. When you're going through this journey, reach out to your feminine women in your life, because this journey is not meant to do alone. And something that I've noticed in my journey, especially since my spiritual awakening and really trying to to come into who I am as a man and what it means to be a man is I realized, and I think a lot of men can relate to this too, is I realized in my journey of embracing spirituality and just being spiritual, that includes things like crystals and astrology and and being okay with self-care, and heck, my favorite color is purple, and there are things that we embrace when we really just open up to the idea of self-growth and working through our shadow, that have a lot to do with just embracing those sides of ourselves. And something that happens for a lot of spiritual men is they start to question everything. They start to question those old paradigms. And the biggest thing is rejecting toxic masculinity. I shouldn't say the word rejecting, because what you reject, what you try to think of yourself as rejecting, you are also creating friction towards. So try to think less of it like rejecting and more like seeing through to the truth. When you are letting go, instead of rejecting, letting go of the old paradigms of toxic masculinity and things like that. A lot of times when we're really getting into our self-growth journey and our spirituality, a lot of men go through this phase of rejecting masculinity in general. I know I did, because there was this huge calling of not resonating with masculinity as a whole anymore. I was embracing my femininity, and I was embracing all of these things like feelings and style and sense of love and compassion, and at the same time I was also going from being a guy that had been a tradesman all my life to, getting out of the trades and not roofing anymore, to going back to school and doing this, and that in itself was kind of the start of this really big self-growth journey. And in that, when you're going through self-growth and you're embracing all these other aspects of yourself, that can be hard, because a lot of these things are attached to social conditioning and stereotypes. And so then you say, oh, well, I'm rejecting toxic masculinity. And then it can be really hard to split the hairs and split the vision between what's toxic masculinity and what's masculinity in general, because there is a difference. And it's like saying, without attaching a gender role to it, the divine masculine archetype, the divine masculine man or woman, is a leader in their community. They think with integrity, they are wise, they are patient, they're kind, they act with love, and when they communicate and they assert their boundaries, they do it with certainty and firmness, without aggression either. It's like the classic martial artist of knowing how to lead with wisdom and integrity, and to know how to fight, but to choose when not to. These are so many qualities of the divine masculine archetype, and none of them have anything to do with aggression or patriarchal sort of ideals. That's another thing. So divine masculine knows that leadership has nothing to do with hierarchy or patriarchy. They know that it has everything to do with being an equal partner with their divine feminine in the life that they forge together. And when I say divine feminine partner, again, I want to be clear, this has nothing to do with heterosexual men finding women, or being business partnered with women, or whatever. This has everything to do with the idea that in the universe and the concept of twin souls, the universe doesn't actually care about gender. When it splits a soul in half and says you have another half out there, the two of you are masculine, feminine, and you will come together and create one whole of balance. But nothing in there does it say that you have to be man and woman. That is why it's so important to understand the fact that these are archetypes that men and women embody within ourselves, both archetypes within ourselves, in balance. Because it is so much about understanding that we have both. But when I talk about the divine masculine is, an equal partner with his feminine, these pronouns too are fluid. And I really, really want to hammer that home, because if you are gay or trans and you're watching this video, this still applies. Because if you're gay and if you're a man or a woman and you're looking for the same gender, then what you're looking for is somebody who complements your archetype. That's what is so important here, in the sense of a soul looking for their other half. I just really wanted to establish that this is a very gender inclusive topic. It's not just about men or women, or straight men or women, or heterosexual relationships, or any of those things. It's so much about just embodying balance. So I hope that clears anything up in that. I really love those cultures like indigenous tribes in Egypt, and those cultures that have been a little bit lost to history, but we're gaining some of that culture back, where we really celebrate women and men in our culture just as much as one or the other. And it's not, I don't think it's about achieving patriarchal or matriarchal hierarchy. I, as a divine masculine male, I truly believe that it is about finding this sense of equality in appreciation, and archetypal appreciation just as much as cultural appreciation. So I really hope that clears up any indiscrepancies around that topic, and I really hope it resonates with people that are going through their awakening or their self-growth journey, and you're thinking about integrating those qualities within yourself, and it's just hard to navigate what that looks like, and it's hard to separate the idea of one from the other, or hopefully it's easier to think about it as archetypes that we can embody all of at different times, even rather than thinking that it's some just role that we're supposed to play one or the other. So I really hope that helps. I hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy the rest of your day. I love you. Namaste. Skol. Have a fabulous day. Take care. Bye.